welcome to Kingdom of Kodiak. I'm Kodiak. With me today in a nightly chat, Sir Stefan de Sala. How you doing?
I'm well, sir. How are you?
Good, good. Finally, Morgan, finally, I did it. I got him on. I did it. All right. Let's not waste any more of your time, Stefan. Let's get to the bare necessities. Sorry, Sin. Still, I would like to know, how long have you been playing Amtgard?
So I think my orc records show my first sign-in sometime in 1998, but I'm pretty sure I was playing for a couple of years before that and just refused to sign in because I was young and obstinate. And Amtgard was not my primary LARPing outlet at the time. I was doing full immersion LARPing. I actually helped generate and start the groundwork for a full immersion LARP up in the Pacific Northwest called Legacies, and I was doing that once a month for the weekend, and I was going to Amtgard to learn how to fight better because I sucked. So I really didn't care about Amtgard, so I signed a waiver and stuff, but I refused to sign in. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And then after a couple of years, I'm like, I'm being kind of a jerk. I should probably sign in, like everybody else does, and get class credit and, all that good stuff. So it's been a minute. I've been playing for a while.
Yeah, 98's a long time. Okay. That's there was a break in there though, wasn't there? Also,
there's been a couple. Okay. I got knighted in 2006. I got hired by the U.S. Border Patrol in 2008, and I moved to Tucson, and I stopped playing for a couple of years. There was, we're talking about some of the darker days of Amtgard right now, right? Like early 2000s and before, especially in the Pacific Northwest, like there was a lot of drugs at events, especially marijuana. There was a lot of inappropriate sexual behavior and this kind of thing at campouts. And I was a law enforcement officer, and I'm like, I really can't be around that stuff. Like we're the largest marijuana interdiction organization in the world. I can't be around people that are just packing around a pound of it in their pocket because they think it's funny. Times have changed, obviously, both with the legality of marijuana and whatnot, and also with the culture in Amtgard, which is great. Ultimately, I came back because I needed a stress outlet, and the park here in Tucson was really small, and there wasn't any of that crap going on. And I was in a position where I could kind of influence the culture of the local park to make sure that none of that stuff started. And so I wasn't necessarily around it. And so I came back and started beating nerds, as Morgan likes to
say. And doing it very well. I met you when I was trying to qualify for office to run for Monarch the first time, and we fought in Yuma. And it was the first time I'd ever met you and ever whatever. And yeah, we beat each other with sticks for 2 hours, and I was like, all right, well, farewell. Thanks for letting me get hit. I appreciate it. But okay. We need to press forward. That was question one of like forever. So let's move on. Still would like to know, where does your persona come from?
So my persona actually does come from that old full immersion LARP that I was playing. I just kind of transitioned the whole concept over to Amtgard. I've never been a big LARPer in the Amtgard sense. Like I've never actually really played my persona much at Amtgard. But the persona is an old, vagabond gypsy warrior kind of guy, just trying to make his way, so.
Okay. All right. So which award or achievement are you most proud of receiving?
Oh, for sure, my knighthood. It only took 10 years. It only cost me thousands of dollars. It was frustrating, and it took, in my opinion, far too long. But I learned a lot along the way about a lot of different things, not just my Master Owl path. So for sure, that's the thing I'm most proud of as far as awards go.
Okay. So Calder wants to know, specifically removing your knighthood, what accomplishment are you most proud of?
So accomplishments and awards aren't always the same. Right? Nope. So what accomplishment am I proudest of? Taking the Tucson Park, taking Obsidian Gate from, I was the only person showing up for like 6 or 8 weeks, to what my last reign is Monarch. I think we were pulling 40 people a week or more, for almost a year, and like helping start convergence days and the early days of the floating crown transition, and trying to get people to travel more and go to the other parks and try to build some kingdom cohesion. And it ultimately was fairly successful. So
I think we just had the results from our elections coming from the kingdom, and I think what we learned out of that is travel matters. Like
absolutely.
Yeah, if you're traveling, you have more of a face in the kingdom. I mean, that's what the numbers were showing. But great, that's awesome to hear. Hopefully, we'll have some more Arizona Convergence days where you and I can actually hang out and talk instead of just being in the same area as each other.
Right?
Yeah. He's going to fight. I'm going to reave the tournament. We're both going to fight, but we're not going to talk. We'll find something. Right. Morgan, you might know him. He would like to know, what's your favorite battle game and why?
Oh, man. So some of my favorite battle games, I like old school capture the flag, man. Like, and it's a nostalgia thing for me. When I first started playing Amtgard, we played these capture the flag games, back in version 6, where you had to not just grab it and take it back to your base, but you had to hold the dang thing for 20 minutes or 10 minutes. And if they touched it, timer reset. And it was limited lives and, limited spell sheets, and everything back in V6 was super limited, and if they weren't just shatter battles, they didn't just turn into, well, I'm just going to kill the whole other team and then that'll solve the problem. It never worked that way, man. It was honest to goodness. Nope, we're going to hold it. We're going to use the strategy. We're going to keep them at bay and protect the flags. And man, those were great times, dude. Those were great games.
All right. Sir Alucard and Cassio would both like to know, what is your favorite class to play when you're playing these battle games?
Oh, Master Scout all the way. Like I'm old school Paragon Scout. I got my Master Scout like early V7, late V6, and they're just the Scout as a class is so versatile. They're kind of like the jack of all trades. They got a little bit of everything to mess people up and get places. So, yeah, absolutely.
All right, and Deverick would like to know, when you're playing your Master Scout, what weapon set are you loading out?
It depends on what's on the field, but most of the time I run Florentine. I run the double shorts.
Yeah, because it's the best way to do the game overall.
In my opinion, yeah.
Yeah, Morgan, put your shield down. It's float. Well, anyways,
the kidney, whatever.
Those are the bare necessities. Sorry, Sin. Let's get to the questions KOK viewers have been asking since episode 1. For those of you who've been paying attention, it's episode 82, or 83. So I've been asking these questions for a minute. The question is, the first one at least, Sir Glenolf should have received a toaster from Calthrax, delivered to me, handed off to Sir Alucard. So we're believing that Glenolf has his toaster. How do you feel about Glenolf getting a soda maker?
Why wouldn't you get a soda maker?
I don't know. I don't know. Okay. All right. Stillhat would like to know, who's the best bear?
Ooh. I got to run with my buddy Morgan. I got to stick with my tribe.
Okay. All right. Well, unfortunately, Morgan, this was the week where points were halved, so you're only going to get 2 instead of 4. That's unfortunate. Anyone who's keeping track, just. And then, what are your thoughts on Dragonspine, the Kingdom, getting a mobile pool and/or jacuzzi?
Ooh. My first concern is who's going to store it and care for it when it's not in use. Right.
I think the answer is Dom. I think we've just decided Dom's going to take care of it.
Okay. Well, then by all means, whatever, let's do it.
Okay. And how would you fund it?
Ooh. So my favorite fundraiser ever is called Pie in the Face, where you auction off. Well, first, it's got two phases of fundraising. The first one, people get nominated, right? And it's a penny a point. And it takes $1 to put anybody on the board. And then usually it's like the top 5 people, the top 5 point earners get pied. And then you pick an event somewhere, like a camp out event, and you auction off the pies. So you auction off the ability to actually slap somebody in the face with a cream pie. And we have raised a boatload of dollars doing that every time we do it. So
are you listening? Tell Tashima, pie in the face.
Pie in the face. It is super successful every time. I've never seen it fail.
Awesome. Okay. Well, those are the questions KOK viewers have been asking since episode 1. Let's get to some actual questions for you, Stefan. Stillhat would like to know, what's your weirdest flex?
My weirdest flex? I think my weirdest flex is probably my tendency, like when I get tripped in battle, like I will absolutely take the shoulder roll and dive over whatever it is and roll out and come straight up to my feet and keep moving. And it's super awesome to see. Obviously I've never seen it. I barely remember it happening, but has happened quite frequently where, I got a pole arm tripping me up, and I'll just dive over it and take a shoulder roll and come back up.
Okay. All right. Darius had this question of like 2 months ago, but it's funny because it has a bear pun in it, so I'm going to ask it. Are you the torchbearer of any particular skills?
No. AmpGuard's been around a long time. It's all been done. Like,
okay. All right. Friar Carlos would like to know, what practical advice do you have for artisans in our kingdom for improving their crafts at any level?
So practice makes permanent. And the more you can practice, the more you can produce, the more you'll learn about what you're doing, and the better you'll get at it. You know, there's an old experiment that was done in a pottery class, right? Where the class was divided in half, and one half of the class was told, hey, your entire grade will be graded on making one perfect piece of pottery. And the other half of the class was told, your grade will be based solely on volume. Make as much stuff as you can. I don't care if it's crap, just make a bunch of stuff. And by the end of the term, the group that was being graded on volume actually created better pottery because they had more experience.
That's fair. Okay.
So make as much as you can.
Okay. Follow-up question from Friar Carlos. How do you keep your personal arts and science projects fresh?
That's a great question. Since I haven't actually produced anything in years, I don't really know how to answer that. I am currently using Hero Forge to plan garbing projects. Because you can go on there and paint your minis electronically, and if you hate it, you can dump it and start over. So I have some garbing projects that are planned. I have no idea if and or when I will ever get them done, but that's a really tough thing. You just try something new, try something different.
Okay. Lightning and Beatrix would like to know, what's your favorite garb that you own?
That's the tunic that everyone sees me in all the time. My black tunic with my white captain stripes on the side. That's absolutely my favorite tunic with the blue checkers on the sleeve. Mm-hmm. That's my favorite tunic ever.
Did you make that one, or did someone else?
Oh yeah, no, I made that one. Vanguard's actually my second fighting company. I started a fighting company in the Pacific Northwest called Karma, and their colors were similar. They were black, green, and blue, and I had one just like it with green checkers, and all of those squares are individually appliqued on. And it's a huge pain in the future, but it's an amazing piece of work.
Sweet. Okay. Stillhat would like to know, what's the coolest garb you've ever seen?
Ooh, that's a tough one, man. There's been so much good garb throughout AmpGuard over the years. I don't even know. I couldn't tell you anything specifically. Like, I don't remember anything specifically, but there was the year I competed at Olympia, there was some amazing friggin' garb there. Just absolutely gorgeous court garb there.
Okay.
So some of that stuff is just crazy.
So you kind of already mentioned that you're doing a little bit of garb design on Hero Forge, but what other projects are you working on?
I have a new suit of armor in the works. I started it back in 2018, and it's been sitting on top of my craft cabinet since I got home from West Virginia. But it's a leather scale mail type armor that I make with a belt tipper, actually. So.
Okay. How could AmpGuard help you with that project?
I don't know that AmpGuard could help me with that project. I need to find the motivation and the $80 I need for buckles. So $80 for buckles, AmpGuard. That's the answer. Yeah. So I built my serpent belt on a Master Owl. I built my claim to fame, if you will. I built 5 suits of armor in 10 months, not pieces, suits, ankle to wrists to neck. And at the time, I could get a 22 square foot hide of leather of any thickness for about $200 from a wholesale outlet in downtown Seattle. It's expensive. Crafting's expensive. Your serpent belt is the only belt money can buy, and you won't get there without it. You need cash.
For sure. I guess that's going to answer kind of my question that I had was, are you doing commissions? But it doesn't sound.
No. I've learned that I hate commissions. I don't like the pressure. So it ruins my joy.
Well, I want to see that scale mail when it's done, because scale mail leather, that's a Kodiak. That's got me ringing over here, because no metal armor for me. Druids don't wear metal armor. And yeah. Okay. Another bear pun question, which is why it's on here. What would you consider to be the bare necessities of AmpGuard that new players should focus on?
Okay. So I ran it's funny, before we went live, you mentioned my Guardian of the Gate title. That comes from something that I did with Monarch here in Tucson, and I built a passport, I think there were 23 things in the passport, and it basically it encouraged new players to get involved in every aspect of AmpGuard, right? You were required to have a waiver on file. You were required to have a persona name. You were required to own a tunic and a short sword and a shield, or 2 short swords and a shield. You were required to participate in a tournament. Didn't say you had to win anything. I said you had to sign up for a tournament and fight in it. You had to participate in an arts and sciences competition. Again, make one thing, enter it, and get the feedback from the judges. And like I said, there were 23 things on there that my wife and I sat down with probably a couple other people and figured out, like, these are the basics. These are the things that will get people hooked on this as a hobby. And if you completed all of the tasks in a reign, then you got the title Guardian of the Gate. So that thing went out AmpGuard wide. I sent that format everywhere. I sent it to like 8 kingdoms after we did it. So, because it was tremendously successful.
Wow. Awesome. We got to stumble across that here, because we have since COVID, we've gotten a flux of new players, and just to be like, hey, this is where you go.
Yeah, if you look at my orc records, I also have a title Sentinel of the Gate, which the people that came in behind me running the monarchy created a whole nother passport with a whole nother 20 some set of things to do that was a little more difficult, a little more advanced. And again, the idea, if you completed the second round of tasks, you got another made up title.
Wow.
So
cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Let's talk a little bit about the persona again with Silhat's question. What is your personal heraldry?
So you sent out that picture with my personal heraldry on it. That's an eclipsed sun with the downsword going through it, which again goes way, way back to the Legacies days and my full immersion LARP days. And it was kind of the symbol given for a subsect of the gypsy culture in that game that were considered the knights and protectors of the gypsy tribes. So where I stole it from.
Okay. All right. So V9 is in production as we speak, and Cato, love Cato, has had this question on KOK for a minute now. Back shield in version 9. How do you feel?
No.
Thank you. No. Cato, it's dying again.
And it needs to stay dead.
It needs to stay dead.
Look, there's a sport to amp guard, and throwing a shield over my back and saying that that's basically indestructible back protection we're just going to all be Ninja Turtles walking around, and it's going to look really goofy. And it has no basis historically as anything that actually worked. And as much as we are a fantasy game, there is some need to stay, like, find me a fantasy genre where indestructible back shields are a thing. You won't. Don't.
Okay. Well, Cato always has this as a follow-up question, and it sounds like we already know your answer, but to flurb or not to flurb?
Oh, flurb it up. Get there. Like, I don't consider myself a huge flurb. Like, I don't, I put on garb, and half the time I don't. Well, I guess now I wear fighting pants all the time, but there was years where I didn't even wear fighting pants. I wore cargo shorts and a tunic and a belt, like, whatever. But man, whatever gets you there, man, whatever floats your boat, whatever you enjoy in amp guard, then that's the most important thing about it. Good.
I like that. Zana would like to know, are there any rain themes that you would like to see?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, amp guard's been around a minute. It's all been done. So, like, trying to come up with something new is...
Doesn't have to be new. Is there something that you...
I've really enjoyed goofing around with the Arabian Nights stuff. Mm-hmm. And some years back now, there was like an Arabian Nights expansion book that went out. I don't remember where it came from. Don't remember who to give credit to. I'm sorry, but someone else came up with it. It sure wasn't me. I'm not that smart. But we had a blast playing Arabian Nights in Obsidian Gate with the terrain effects and all that stuff. With some of our best quest games and battle games were that rain. Some of the most enjoyable times in Obsidian Gate were during that rain. So,
okay. So we're gonna start looking past the park now, and still would like to know your top 5 amp guard events.
Top 5 amp guard events. I really love Gathering of the Crowns now. Sorry about that. I used to go to Spring War every year, and I had amazing experiences out of Spring War. Pack War. My night started Pack War, so I'm fond of it, and I went for the first 14 of them or something like that. There's an event out in what is now the Viridian Highlands, Camp Out of 1,000 Stars or Zen Stars. Had great times there. Blew out my knee there. That's 4. Those are the events I've been to. Been to Arrakis a couple times. So.
Okay. And what is your favorite?
At this point, my favorite is probably Gathering of the Crowns, because I finally live someplace where I can drive there in a few hours and be there, and people come from all over the country, if not the world, to go to that event because of the cultural significance it has in our community. And so I get to see all my old friends there, and it's awesome.
Okay, well then I'll see you there this year. Maybe that is when we'll get to sit down and talk. I've been promised to go to Vanguard Camp. I told Morgan I was absolutely doing it because he wants to feed me. So, and I can't turn down free food. I don't have that ability. Yeah. So Kyle would like to know, what do you look forward to most at events?
The positive social time with my friends. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I've transitioned away from looking forward to battle games to looking forward to tournaments. I enjoy them. They're fun. But really I want to see my people, I want to see, especially the ones that I don't live near, especially the ones that are traveling in that I don't get to see often. Just sit down and sit around camp and shoot the breeze and tell old war stories that are wildly inappropriate and eat good food.
Yeah, It's what it always ends up being. It's like I'm relatively new in comparison, but my favorite part of events so far is when you get to sit down and listen to the vets tell stories. It's like that's the best. And sober, drunk, it doesn't matter. Just tell me stories.
Trust me, they're better drunk.
So Kenjin would like to know, what does the perfect event look like to you?
First of all, understand there is no such thing. So in the fantasy world of a perfect event, the food in an event is probably one of the most important things. So like, in my opinion, like if the event's going to provide food, man, it needs to be decent food. It needs to be food where I don't walk away hungry later or like immediately and have to go make my own food. The perfect event, all the meals would be provided, most of them by volunteer groups like fighting companies and households and parks or whatever step up to raise funds and provide meals so that people could go and all they had to pay for was gate fees. And was taken care of, where there was good battle games, a good solid tournament, and good honest play. And then just that hang out time in the evenings, man, and the impromptu bardics and impromptu like King of the Hill, single sword pits are a blast.
Yeah, it sounds great. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can't argue with any of that. We're gonna what's that?
Showers.
Yes. Yes. I've heard some stories. Yes, showers. All the showers. All right. We're going to transition yet again. Would like to know what your thoughts are on the non-men's tournaments that Dragonspine got into the Kapora during COVID.
Look, the more inclusive we can be, the better. That sums it up.
Okay. Fair enough. So we already kind of talked about your projects. What drives you?
So that's changed over the years. Obviously, you play something, you're involved in a hobby this long, your motivation is going to change. And I don't consider myself really driven in Amtgard anymore. What drove me, man? So it was funny. I think earlier you mentioned that you had another hobby. I didn't. Amtgard was like I went to work and I Amtgarded, and that was it. I mean, you make 5 suits of armor in 10 months. You're not doing anything else. It was a full-time job. I worked 50 hours a week for the phone company, and I'd come home and I'd spend 4 or 5 hours working leather, and then I'd go to bed and rinse and repeat. So I was, there was a time when I was really driven to stack my ladder awards and get my belt. And then there was a time when I was really driven to build a park and build a community and build a region up so that we could have good Amtgard. Amtgard's better with more people, period. Like the more people that play Amtgard, the more fun it is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the more drama is involved. And now I go to spend time with the people I'm close to, and that's it. I'm really not invested in it in any other way at this point, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. Last question of our first section here is from Sir Smiley. And Sir Smiley would like to know, what's the greatest lesson you learned now that you wish you knew then?
Amtgard as a community needs to stop putting up with people's trash behavior, period.
Mm-hmm.
We need to stop calling them waivers and start realizing that they're a membership agreement. And part of that on the waiver is that you agreed to abide by the rules of play and the Kapora and the decisions of the park leadership. And if you don't, then you're going to get a vacation. And we need to embrace that and not beat people up for giving people vacations when their behavior is garbage.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. That's the right answer. So Sir Tristan would like to know, why are the Golden Lions the best company in Amtgard?
Yeah. So funny story. I got tons of stories about Golden Lions. Why are they the best company in Amperg? Probably because they're like, what are they? The longest standing active company in Amperg history. Or I think they're the longest. They're certainly in the top 3. They were one of the first fighting companies in Amperg for sure. So I have nothing bad to say about the Golden Lions. Not because my wife is one.
Okay, so you've talked about historically they're one of the oldest, and that your wife is in one of, and that wouldn't. But why are they the best?
I'm not going to kiss Tristan's ass on King of Kodiak. So,
well, hopefully when you get down for Maze, you and Tristan can talk about it in person, because he'll be there.
Back, so.
So that transitions us to, what fighting companies and households are you in?
I don't even know if I'm actually a member of any official household. I founded Vanguard. Geez, how long ago was that now? I don't even remember. It's been a minute now. Time flies. Holy crap. I founded Vanguard because I needed a fighting company, and I was looking around, and all the other, all the companies that I would have aspired to were really far away, and I wasn't really sure what my chances were. So I built my own and just started to collect the best people that I could. So
I know a chunk of those people, and I would stand by them being good people. So, good people. So question that's been on for a minute in Kingdom of Kodiak, and it's always paired with another question, but I really like the idea of picking the brain of a player and being like, hey, you get to create now. If you could create a ladder award in Amperg that doesn't exist already, what would it be for, and what would you call it?
So I watched some of the King of Kodiak with Aaron, and the idea of a ladder award for archery was brought up. And outside of that, I think the ladder award system is pretty comprehensive at this point. So I don't know. I saw that episode, or parts of that episode, and I knew that was, if I ever got on here, I'm like, he's going to ask me that question, and I don't have an answer for you outside of, we should have something to promote archery, because it can be and should be a huge part of our game. But otherwise, I think the ladder award system is fairly comprehensive, and everything fits in somewhere.
Okay, fair enough. So let's not talk about adding an award. Let's talk about the rules. If you could change one rule in Amperg right now, what would you change and why?
Man, I am not the right person to ask that question anymore. I haven't been Reeves qualified in like 6 years. So I'm not even sure I even know the rules at this point. If you want to get me on a soapbox about rules, we can talk about the armor system and how I think it's complete garbage. And I know 6 Master Owls, and all of us think that it's garbage. So I would completely revamp the way we do armor.
Go on, I'm listening.
All right, so to break the 3-point barrier, you basically have to be a walking pop can, but you're not allowed to use any modern materials to gain full points. We are the only LARP system in the country that does not allow the use of modern materials for armor. The SCA, who has a huge reputation for being very, very snobby about everything, allows the use of lightweight plastics for protection pretty much everywhere. There is no reason we should not be allowing the use of Kydex and similar plastics, as long as they are made to look appropriate, as long as they are made to look like what they represent. There is no reason at all to not allow modern materials. to require steel specifically, and you can't even use high-speed aluminums and get full point value. You're creating a situation where to play warrior to its fullest advantage, to play paladin or anti-paladin to its fullest advantage, you need money. That stuff's expensive. It's expensive and it's hard to work, and you're creating a false aristocracy where the top warrior players are going to just be well funded, and if you're not well funded, you won't hold a candle to the guys that are well funded, and it's garbage.
Fair enough. I agree, because I'd like to see the armor change, but also like I was mentioning before, I don't wear metal armor. I will never wear metal armor for anything unless like a drastic character change happens for Kodiak, but like to know that there's a limit I could hit even if I didn't want to wear metal, like, whatever. We'll figure it out. It'll take time. It'll take, instead of 5 Master Owls, it'll take 10 or 25 or 30. Right. And who knows if we even have that many.
I think there are 25 Master Owls in the game.
No.
So, just to be clear.
Spoilers for Maze. Anyways, still I would like to know. Can you name us 5 up-and-comers in Amtgard?
No, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm not paying attention. All right. Like I said, I'm motivated to go out and see my friends. And, we talked about, I've had a couple of breaks. I took a break in 2008 for a few years, and 2021, in 2017, I broke from Amtgard for a couple of years, and my family disappeared into jiu-jitsu. I come back out to spend time with my fighting company and hopefully meet some great people. And I'm on the mats 4 days a week. So I'm sorry. I'm sure there are some fabulous up-and-comers, and y'all are great and keep after it. I'm sorry. I have no idea who you are. Please don't take that personal.
We just got to get you to more of the kingdom stuff, right? Like that's what's got to happen. You'll meet these people, again, get you to Maze, or we have a convergence day or whatever. And I'll walk you around by the shoulders and introduce you to all these people. All right. So another question from Kyle here. Who do you look up to most in the game?
My knight is probably one of the best people I've ever met, period. Sir Derek Roth out of Blackspire, who is a 3-belted knight, and I think he has 9 dragons for riding, so he's right on the cusp of getting that 4th original belt, and could certainly qualify in retrospect with what he's done for the Knight of Battle easily. Everything I know about tactics, I learned from Sir Derek Roth. So yeah, he's probably the number 1 on that list.
Okay. Well, you mentioned it, so let's get to the last question before we get to your knighthood questions. What are your thoughts on Battle Knight?
It's overdue. I'm not sure that having it as a standalone belt and not as another path to sword is. I don't know how I feel about that. But I also don't know that one way or the other is really critically important, right? Mm-hmm. It's more important that we recognize people for their battle game prowess, because battle games is what Amtgard is about. This is why we come together. This was, at least back in the old days, right? Battle gaming was why you went to Amtgard. You went to Amtgard to play full class games. Like, why? What else would you go to Amtgard for? Ditching was something that we did in between full class games to keep warm and relax a little bit and slow down. It was like the warm up round, right? Mm-hmm. And then the next class game would start and teams would be picked and off you would go. and the next 45 minutes you'd be in a class game, in one class game. So I think it's important. I think it's a great addition to AmpGuard. I think it's probably long overdue, to be honest.
Okay. All right. I personally, because it is my show, so I'm going to get on my soapbox real quick and then jump right off. If it's going to be in the game, it probably should be its own belt. We have other avenues to make Sword have multipass. Bringing Griffin back, for example, would be an absolute option for that. And then considering role play for the Battle Knight as well, and making it a 2 system. But I've been preaching that for a year and a half now, and they didn't do it. So whatever. No one listens to bears. Let's get to your knighthood questions. And they start off with more generic questions, actually. Kyle has 3 of them. What do you teach inside of AmpGuard?
Yes. So, look, I have a 3-inch binder on top of my closet full of all my paperwork, and there's a lot of it. I have close to 50 awards, I think, all total titles and everything else. I'm not good at everything, but I know a little bit about most things. So it depends on what you want to do. Do you want advice on how to be an effective officer? I've held every position. Do you want to run events and do service? Yeah, I've done that too. Do you want to make stuff? Cool. Well, here's the process for how you get recognized for that and how you grow in that avenue and build your reputation in those things. I've been teaching combatives for a very, very long time. So, teaching new people how to fight, just the basics, just the fundamentals. You can go a long, long way just chopping the bejesus out of people. You don't need fancy, cool shots. You don't need to be super fast. You just need to process information quickly, hit your core blocks, and chop, 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 chop. That'll take you 5 like that. So...
Okay. So what are the top 3 things that you want people learning from you to take away in general thoughts?
So as previously mentioned, practice makes permanent. Mm-hmm. Perfect, right? If you practice it wrong, you'll do it wrong. So make your practice time at whatever it is you're doing the best value you can, and try to start slow and perfect, and speed comes with time, right? Mm-hmm. You're not going to make everyone happy, and not everyone's going to like you.
Is that number 2?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I thought you were just talking to me. You're like Kodiak.
Try to find a way to not take that personal. And at the same time, still listen to the feedback and did I screw that up, or are we just not going to get along? Sometimes that's the way of things. Third one, man, find your joy and run with it. Right? Whatever it is, there is something in AmpGuard for everyone. Mm-hmm. So find your joy in AmpGuard and don't ever let it go. Don't ever let anyone bully you away from it. Don't ever let anyone degrade your efforts in it. Period.
Yeah. I like it. Period. Whenever I hear someone say, always hang on to what you love in AmpGuard, I always think about the other side of it, or I try to think about the other side of it. Be flexible to how you get that. So when I joined AmpGuard, I joined because I wanted to role play. And I didn't know AmpGuard was a foam sword fighting that also sometimes allowed people to be in a persona at times. Right. So I started just being like, well, I have a story I want to tell. So journal entries for Quang Qualls, part of my story gets told because I do journal entries, and it's a paragraph, and people are like, hey, what's happening next? Well, you have to wait until the next time I write a journal. But I know the story, and then I've introduced people like Kriv and Kenjin and Deverick and Beatrix are parts of the story now, and Damon Abali, they're aware of where the story's going and how they've introduced themselves, and they're starting to write stories, how they've been part of it. And I'm getting the RP without it being what I do on Saturday. Like Saturday I'll go out and I'll play an Infernal Descendant because my sword is corrupt and it's inhabited by an evil spirit and it's making me do evil things. So I'm fighting an Infernal Descendant and I'm fighting with sword and board because I'm a trash person. But
it's not a flail.
Well, also I am a person, which, you know, if I was not a person, I would be playing with a flail. Sorry, flail fighters, but it's true. You know it. But yeah, be flexible. I'm sorry. I got on that podium again. Let's get back to you.
Good.
It's not about me. Damon Ubley would like to know what makes a good night.
I don't know if you could find a knight that won't tell you that knighthood is about service, right? I don't care what your path is. If you're not there to serve the community, you don't deserve the belt. Take it off, put it away. And knights, in my opinion, should proactively look for ways to be of service to their park and to their kingdoms. Everywhere, every time, every day, all the time.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I do want to break in here. Xander the Reaper. Just wanted to point out that bucket showers would be a thing if real showers didn't exist at the event.
Not wrong.
Yeah.
So.
And also, Sarai, almost immediately after I said flail people aren't people, confirmed. Yeah. They're not. Thank you, Sarai. I appreciate you. So Damon Ubley would also like to know, who's a knight that you admire most outside of your knight, because you've already used them?
Yeah. It's gonna come down to either my buddy Duke out of the Northern Lights or Dame Aurora Celine, who used to be in CK and is now up. She lives in Vancouver, so I don't know if she's currently playing in Blackspire or she's playing in Northern Lights. But in either case, we go way, way back. I've learned tons from both of them. They are just solid people.
Okay. You gotta like solid people though, right? Like, especially if that's what you're doing. The reason you're coming out is for people. The better they are, the easier coming out is, right?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
For sure. Okay. Stefan, are you more of a paladin or anti-paladin?
I am way more of a paladin.
So what would be your opinions on opening up paladin and anti-paladin?
You know, it's going to be an unpopular opinion. I'm old school about it. All right. I worked really hard to earn the right to play paladin and anti-paladin. I enjoy playing both classes. I've maxed both classes out. At the same time, like, earning that right is culturally way more difficult than it should be. So I'm not a fan, but my opinion doesn't matter on that one. So.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're willing to, we have to agree that getting knighted is very hard. Dragonspine is like the fourth least knighted kingdom of the 22.
Yeah.
So that would mean we are the least represented paladin, anti-paladin, or the fourth least represented before. So opening them up is important. But like Sir Tristan mentioned at GOTC 2 years ago, that's fine. But the knightly accoutrements need to stay with the knights.
Yes, I agree.
You can make a dragon on a shield or dragon on a belt favor be the paladin and anti-paladin, just discern the colors. But the phoenixes are meant for knights.
Yeah.
The chains, the adornments, those things are meant for knights.
Yep.
Yeah, so do I. Tristan and I spent a lot of time in that GOTC talking back and forth because he is a treasure to me as a new player, but also he is a riot to hang out with. So if he had an opinion, I was like, all right, it's not how I think about it, but that man way smarter than me. So let's hear what he has to say. And yeah, I like it. So has your opinion of knighthood changed since you've been belted.
Oh, of course it has. I mean, shoot, do the math. I got knighted in 2006. So it's been 15 years. Of course it's changed. I think I don't. Man, I have some unpopular opinions. So here we go. I don't think that knights collectively do enough. We should be the guardians of Amtgard culture, not to protect the way things are, but to carry the way things are supposed to be. And promoting that inclusive, progressive environment of mutual sorry, my vocabulary just we should be out there setting the example on how to help people, how to do things not for yourself but for others. And there is an importance, like you want to get somewhere, man, do your thing, right? I don't believe that that's selfish. I don't believe that doing things for yourself is inherently selfish, but there has to be a time when you're doing things not for yourself, when you're doing things for the community, for other people.
Yeah.
And there are times when those two things aren't mutually exclusive, but Knights as a group, we should be helping. And I don't know that I know what that looks like, man, but I just don't think we're doing it. So.
Okay. No, hey, I mean, being held to a higher standard is one thing. You have an opportunity, right, as someone who wears the white belt, to go to your circle of knights and be like, hey, we could do better as the current knights to make the future knights understand where they should be when they join our ranks. And then the players that are masters will know what the standard is, and then the players achieving achievement, and it'll go all the way down. And you have that opportunity as someone who could be a voice on the Circle of Knights for Dragonspine. Yes, Kodiak, you're right, Kodiak.
You're not wrong, Kodiak, but I'm just not that guy right now.
No, sure. That's. I mean, I have no problem screaming at people I'm not supposed to scream at. So, like, I can go to the circle. I'll go to them and be like, guys, this and this, and they'll tell me to shut up, or they'll tell me that thank you but no thank you, and I'll go about face and walk back to my hole. But
I am a part of that group, so I am a target of my own criticism as well. I'm not by any stretch of imagination perfect, or think that I am doing it right all the time, or even part of the time, but I try. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So you've mentioned your knight. I would like to know about your belt line as a whole. Tell us about your belt line.
So what I know about my belt line. So Derek Roth was already Flame Knight when I started in '96. He got his sword belt shortly after. I drove him all over 2 states when he was king of what was then Mystic Seas to help him earn his crown belt. His knight, Sir Jackson, they are best friends, have been for eons. Funny story, I met them both at the same time. And I went to Derek Roth's Squire Granite and asked him for a man-at-arms belt. And he's like, well, why would you want my man-at-arms belt? There were knights at that event that were asking me about you and looking to squire you. I'm like, yeah, I don't know that I respect any of them. I wasn't impressed. He was specifically talking about Jackson. I didn't know that. I do love Sir Jackson. He's a good dude. And I don't know who Jackson's knight was, or if he had one. I think he did. But the belt line stops there. So with 3rd or 4th generation in the knightly family, and then it stops. So you don't have any squires or man-at-arms? No, so I do. I have a squire that's been knighted. Sir Show was knighted swords some years ago.
Hey.
Show and I go way back, obviously. I don't think anybody else that's been under me has been knighted. I think it's just Show.
Okay. Do
I'll be really embarrassed if I'm wrong.
do you know if show still plays? Because I watched the old Amcard Leadership University video with him in it. Seems like someone I should be meeting.
He will play again, but he is really badly injured. He screwed up his ankle like a year ago, and it's still not right.
Oh,
Yeah, he can't. He has a hard time walking right now. Never mind running around beating folks. So
that's unfortunate.
he'll be back, I would assume, but I don't know when that's going to be.
Okay. All right. Well, we've gotten to the most difficult questions that KOK has. We call them the funny questions. And we'd like to start off with Sir Glenn. Sir Glenn Mop would like to know, who's the most unusual person you've ever met?
Oh, wow. I have no idea. There's so many unusual people. Totally unprepared for that question. Pull a name out for you to save my life right now. Sorry about that one.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe this will be easier because it doesn't have to deal with humans. Still would like to know the coolest dog you've ever met.
The coolest dog I've ever met?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. I had this are we talking like actual dogs?
Yeah, sure.
So it was my dog. All right. I'm just going to brag about my dog. So much for the rest of our time. I'm going to brag about my dog. I had a Rhodesian Ridgeback for 10 years. My wife and I got him when we moved to Spokane. If you're not familiar with the breed, look them up. They're a desert African dog. They were bred to hunt lions. They're one of 6 breeds that are allowed on a racetrack in the U.S. They're super fast. They're super agile, and they're enormous. And their hair sticks up funny. And he was about 90 pounds. He couldn't swim because he didn't float. He was all bone and muscle, and he could cut a 180-degree turn at full speed. And he loved the chase game. He would get dogs to chase him at the dog park. He would slow down so they wouldn't lose interest. But he was faster, more agile, and bigger than every dog there except the Great Danes and the Rescue Greyhounds. So he just ran them ragged. He was super kind-hearted. He was super protective in the ways that are appropriate for a dog to be protective. And we trained the hell out of that dog. So, we took him to an event. We had him off leash and he was running around and I was fighting. The wife was watching after him and he was, 40, 50 yards away and full run. And Erica just yelled at him, "Aries, down." And that dog just picked his legs up and bellied down into the dirt and just laid there until she got to him. But yeah, he was the coolest dog ever. I miss him. I'm going to get a tattoo of his paw print on my leg pretty soon.
Aw. Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you for that. That's a great story. Yeah. Stefan, what's your favorite dinosaur?
Oh, favorite dinosaur. Triceratops all the way.
Okay.
Field face.
Yeah.
You make Morgan happy being a sort of
Morgan is a Triceratops, confirmed. What's the best kind of dragon?
The kind that doesn't eat me.
Fair enough. How about your favorite fictional knight?
Favorite fictional knight. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've read any fiction or could even remember. God, that seems like forever ago. I don't know. Pass. Moving on.
Okay. Sacrifice would like to know, what is the best fictional or non-fictional sword name?
Sword name?
Yep.
No idea.
You're not a nerd at all.
I'm not anymore, man. I'm a Knuckle Dragon Matt right now.
Okay. What's your favorite book of all time?
Oh, Melanie Ron's like one of my favorite authors, and she did 2 series of books that I just absolutely adore. The Sunrunner series is probably top of that list, and then she did a Mage Capital series that she never finished, unfortunately. So those are my 2 favorite series. Oh, and Dragon Riders of Pern, absolutely friggin' amazing books.
Okay. Do you play Magic the Gathering?
I used to. I dropped out of college on it, actually. I flunked out of college on it. So I have 1 deck left of about 65 cards with alpha and beta cut lands in it. And it's, if the cards were in mint condition, it'd probably be worth $1,000. So I have old school Black Border Disintegrates that remove creatures from the game, not sent to your graveyard. Yeah, old school Magic the Gathering player.
So what colors did you play?
White and red.
Okay. All right. You and Deverick would get along. Stefan, what's your favorite color overall?
Blue.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm involved in this question, so of course I'm going to ask it. Is Kodiak more of a Jedi or a Sith?
I don't know Kodiak well enough to judge, but I would probably say Jedi more than Sith.
Oh. I mean, gray is an option, but whatever. So I know, but the whole point is Sir Randall can get the image in his head that there will one day be a gray knight in Amtgard, and his name will be Kodiak. Because I'll use evil powers. I will, only for the right reasons. Though. Anyways, it's not about me. Amtgard is going to make a live action movie. Who is playing Stefan?
Oh. Hopefully someone way better looking than me. I don't know. Sorry, I got nothing.
Jesse Ventura it is. Fantastic. So when your character comes out in that movie, what would the theme song be?
Centuries from Fall Out Boy.
Okay. Well, Calder says it'll be Jason Statham coming out to Centuries by Fall Out Boy.
There we go.
Okay.
I think that's a good call.
I mean, if he does the mustache, I can. Yeah, sure. Okay, we're in a different.
Work would let me, but they don't let me have it.
We're in a different universe now, and everyone has a superpower. What's your superpower?
Flight.
Okay. All right. Still, I would like to know what's your favorite conspiracy, and what's your favorite Amtgard conspiracy?
Favorite real world conspiracy. And I like the idea that we are not alone in the universe, and that space travel is a thing, and it's just being covered up. Amtgard conspiracies aren't funny. So I don't know. I don't know any current Amtgard conspiracies because I'm not that kind of active anymore. I don't know that I've had a favorite Amtgard conspiracy. Those have never ended well for me. So
okay, fair enough. This is what happens when we get to Old Guard: is that the conspiracies hit a little too close to home.
Yeah.
Lightning would like to know: would you rather adopt 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
Ooh, the horse-sized duck would just make so much more. Like, first of all, it'd be easier to care for because there's one of them, and dude, like, let's ride a duck into battle. Like, what the hell? But it'd have to be like I'd want a horse-sized goose though, because geese are mean.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, Stillhat's going to want to know a little something similar. Would you rather fight a duck-sized horse or a horse-sized duck?
Oh, horse-sized duck. Like, no, wait. Duck-sized horse, absolutely, because punt. Hoot.
Stefan, are birds real?
Yes, and they're the nastiest, dirtiest creatures on the planet. They're disgusting. I love birds. They're great. They have a function in the ecology, but man, they are dirty, dirty creatures. They're just gross.
You have to settle a household dispute between Deverick and I. Code Red or Baja Blast?
Oh, sorry. Baja Blast.
Oh, God dang it. No. It's Code Red. Sir Nikolai from the Burning Lands would like to know, what's your favorite drink?
Unfortunately, Coca-Cola, because I kind of love Coca-Cola so much. Rum and Coke is great, but it's so bad for me making weight for jiu-jitsu competition. So shouldn't be drinking that crap.
All right, I have a couple either ors for you in a row here. Apple juice or orange juice?
Orange juice.
Okay. Hot dog, is it a sandwich or a taco?
Are they mutually exclusive?
I mean, that's the argument we've been having for 83 episodes.
So I think to be a taco, it would have to be in more of a shell, and a bun is not a shell, so it would have to be a sandwich.
Okay. All right. Ice cream or custard?
Oh, ice cream all the way.
Okay. Waffles or pancakes?
Ooh. Man, I love them both. Man, I love them both. Depends on the day. Sorry.
Okay. Calder's coming at me and suggesting Livewire is the best of the Mountain Dews. Calder. We're gonna talk.
Oh, buddy, there's not a third option there. Sorry. Wait till
Listen, this is AmpGuard. You can create the third option. Okay.
Be the third option.
Yeah. Stefan, how much is too much to spend on breakfast?
I don't know. How much do you have?
Enough to pay for breakfast, which is how much?
I could eat breakfast food all the time. I could eat breakfast food nonstop all day, 3 meals a day. I love breakfast food.
Okay. Morgan would like to know, is oatmeal a soup?
It depends on how much water you put in it.
Okay. Newly voted Monarch coming in at Maze Tajima. Does he deserve Sonic?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Last 4 questions. Morgan would like to know, what is the square root of a bowl of oatmeal?
6.
6. Fair enough. Morgan would like to know, can you, with as much detail as possible, explain what the color of the letter F smells like?
No.
Okay. Also fair. Morgan would like to know, if you could meet anyone in history, who would it be and why? Is it Freddie Mercury?
It's not Freddie Mercury. Anybody in history, huh? Man, that should be a quick answer, but there's so many people I would love to meet in history. Tesla.
Okay, fair enough. Last question, let me get my breath. If it takes a chicken and a half, a day and a half to lay an egg and a half, how long would it take a grasshopper with a wooden leg to kick the seed out of a dill pickle?
Green.
Stefan, thank you so much for coming on. If you could just bear with me through some announcements, we'll say our goodbyes. Dragonspine, our elections are in. Congratulations to Lord Tajima. Congratulations to Freya, twice battle scarred. Congratulations to Redbeard. Congratulations to Morgan for all winning your elections, and we'll be bringing you in at Maze. That'll be fantastic. Can't wait to see what that team has in store for our Kingdom of Dragonspine. Speaking of Maze, the weekend of the 5th, 6th, and 7th, is that right? Am I doing the right dates here? I'm going to look it up real quick. I should know this. The 5th, 6th, and 7th, Ren Fair and Maze and Dragonspine Las Cruces. Come on down. Friday night, Dragonspine Las Cruces is going to be doing the local Endrain, I believe. Local awards, yeah. And some of the Kingdom Awards will go off Friday night. There'll be battle games and soup. Saturday. What's that?
Is it oatmeal?
Well, I mean, it's soup. It started off as soup. I don't know if it's oatmeal. Saturday night, Dragonspine, the Kingdom, will be hosting Maze. I've designed some battle games. The Order of the Ash is going to be providing dinner. We will have a knighting. Xander the Reaper is going to be knighted, Knight of the Sword. You should come see that. Also, we have a bunch of great people coming to town and a bunch of high-level awards that you, as Populous members, should see. So we'll see you there. It sounds like it's going to be $10 ahead at the gate. Kenjin and I will be working on trying to figure that out. With Stillhat, obviously, helping. Sir Stefan, thank you so much for coming on today. It was a pleasure, of course.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. Anything you would like to say before we take off?
Like you and I were talking about earlier, man. Be flexible about it, but find your joy and don't let anybody push you off of it.
For sure. Oh, we do have a question from Freya. I'm sorry. I do have to ask. I am obligated as a host of the show. Should the new Monarch buy his new Monarch team Sonic? Tajima is the new Monarch, and you did say he deserved Sonic. Should he be buying the whole team?
Does anybody not deserve Sonic?
There you go. Tajima, you owe your team Sonic, says Sir Stefan. I can't help it. I just ask the questions. So, Bob, thank you so much for coming on. And until next week, folks, this has been Kingdom of Kodiak, and I'm Kodiak. Goodbye.